on the Troll.
Hello and welcome to Mzansi. We're back again. It's that time of the night where we have to talk about what is happening in the world and more so about our laws as usual. And we have opinion everywhere. Yes. Right now as we speak, something is happening. People are listening. People are listening to our minister delivering the speech. And we said, since we're either way, you're going to go live. So we might as well just go and listen along with you. Yeah. So, Emily, anything before we start?
No, let's just start. Let's just get into it. I want to hear what is going on.
You want to hear what is going on?
I want to hear it.
Today is 27. And the actual date was 10th February last year. When the incident happened that made everybody jump around in the country, make the calls and all that, when one of the most famous sons of the country was shot and killed. I remember that on the 10th again was a big story, all that. We really pushed on it at all levels, police, politicians, ministry, we've been pushed on the matter. Information has been given time and again, especially by the provincial commissioner here. It will be also by the spokesperson national from the office of the national commissioner. I said to one of your colleagues this weekend, Sunday, it's very clear that I will never answer any question without being asked this question. That was Sunday, and Monday again it was answered. So we will invite the provincial commissioner to give the story of those 6 that have been arrested. I'm sure you have been making the call to say a person was in the video, why is it not arrested and all that kind of stuff. The story is unlike evidence. What you see, people still have to investigate. So to you, there was one person that was to be arrested. 6 people have been arrested that will appear in court on Thursday. It's one outstanding. As we have said, and especially the provincial commission, all of us, there have been things that have been done. Maybe that's the time to tell the story. From us, national office, is to congratulate women and men in blue. One has just met the team that for last almost 48 hours they did not sleep to get the final people, since it will be explained that first person on this case was arrested in April last year. So, and you have been saying that story, and everybody denying. Maybe Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi, who happens to provincial commissioner, will give us the path that the police have covered. But the question, I'm sure, will come to an end. When are you arresting the killers of AK? And I hope South Africans will have a better sleep after that. Thanks. Lucky?
We'll have a better sleep.
Yeah. Hey, look, man. I don't know. What are you thinking? What are you thinking? 6. There's 6 there.
There's 6. There's 6 people who have been arrested.
Yes. And that means we're including the ones that are coming from Swaziland.
Yes. Yazi inobudeja vunyana. I don't wanna lie. Like I'm feeling budeja vunyana. Like, but let's hear them out.
We will definitely have our 2 cents. You stay with us. We just are listening to this thing with you, so that.
Thanks so much, Minister, and greeting once more to all of you. I'm going to be very brief with regard to the presentation that we're making this evening. As the minister said, there's a total of 6 suspects that have been arrested and detained in connection with the murder of the 2 individuals, Mr. Keenan Forbes, also known as AKA, as well as Mr. Tabelo Motswane, who is also known as TIBZ. The incident that happened on the 10th of February in Florida, here in Devon. These 6, they played different roles during the operation. We have a coordinator who's basically the master of everything, is in custody. We have 2 shooters that you also on social media. We have 2 spotters that were one of the spotters was inside the restaurant observing and watching Mr. Forbes and his friends, as well as the organizer of firearms and vehicles, because the vehicle used as a getaway, firearms that were used to shoot, they all hired. As I said, the 6 of them, the spotter initially followed Mr. Forbes from the airport on arrival, all the way to the hotel, as well as to the restaurant where the incident happened. And this person was also responsible for gathering resources together, the whole team together, as well as the rewards that came thereafter when the people have done their job, the payments that was done. And the second suspect that we have is a person who supplied firearms and vehicles, and that person was also linked to other 2 murder cases, not these ones that that we're talking about. And the third one, it's a shooter who is linked to another murder case, another parallel murder case. We have another spotter that was just outside the restaurant, who's also linked to another case. And we have another spotter who was outside Wish, who's linked to other 2 murder cases. And we have a shooter also as a 6th person who's linked with another murder case. In total of the exhibits that we've recovered thus far, it's a total of 4 vehicles, as well as a firearm that was used.
No, this is Masemula, right? Is it? No, it's General Mkhwanazi, this one.
The one who yesterday said
yeah,
that it's false, the information that was coming from the Eswatini.
False. He used the word false. And then now, now he's telling us the story of how these people are linking. I mean, the cameras are there now, and the man of camera is there. The man who brings cameras is there.
This was supposed to take place 2 hours ago. But
what can we say? And there was obviously that
there was a delay of 2 hours.
And if you ask me, I feel like most probably this man was refusing, maybe to.
That's you speculating.
Yeah, that's me speculating. Look, I still say that what I heard yesterday was not a mistake. I feel like there's going to be that explaining that says, hey, we're just doing this for whatever reason. But let's hear, let's listen.
Explain. He has to explain what was happening yesterday.
In a commission of crime, as well as cartridges that were picked up from the crime scene that were linked with another crime scene where another shooting happened. The first vehicle, which is a Mercedes-Benz, was recovered on the 6th of March last year. And the second recovery was on the 22nd of April, and that was a firearm that was used to shoot and kill Mr. Forbes, specific. On the 23rd of June, the team identified, after recovering these cartridges, they linked them together and were able to link that and confirm that they're all involved. That firearm that was used in both murder scenes. A BMW was recovered on the 2nd of August. That's a vehicle that was trailing Mr. Forbes when he landed in KZN from the airport all the way to the hotel, all the way to the restaurant. A grey I-10 vehicle was recovered on the 20th of October last year. And on the 23rd, the last vehicle, which is a Polo, was recovered as well. So all these recoveries were kept in police premises, and we processed them. The last 2 vehicles were hired from the owner who rented these vehicles. So we took the statement from the owner. We've done all the necessary things, touched DNA and everything that we needed on those cars, and we since released them to the owner, because the owner just rented this vehicle out. So we've got all the evidence as the person who rented the cars. We have all the evidence, and we're comfortable with that case. Timelines, as I've explained, on recoveries will also be the same with arrests. The first arrest, or perhaps maybe before I explain the arrest, before the questions, the strategy that we employed was that after identifying these 6, we're going to look for parallel cases that they are involved in. And we're going to arrest them on those cases and keep them in custody, but don't charge them on the case that we're investigating, the main case.
Let me tool, because this. Let me tool.
Here we go.
Let me tool, because.
Here we go.
This is sounding like deja vu.
There's confession coming. Definitely confession coming. I can almost bet you, man. Confession is coming. And this part for me finishes this whole conversation. But, well.
Sizotini.
What can we say? Let's listen. What can we say?
Sizotini.
So they are arrested for other cases.
Yes. And they linked the firearms.
Look. This, you link them through the firearm. Right?
Yes. The cartridges.
The cartridges that you find in AKA shooting.
Yes.
And then from there, you come back, you arrest them for other cases parallel to those firearms.
Yes.
Man. But maybe that's how
they're doing their jobs.
Investigation is done. But let's listen with you. So you
Let's
don't
give
arrest
them a
them
chance.
for the main one, and then you link them to the other one as you
keep them in
there using the parallel cases.
And you connect.
And then you don't tell them that you are arresting them for obvious. Now we're going to have an issue of confession, and that confession was solicited through keeping them or arresting them for... Okay.
5 of February last year, which happened in Florida. So the reason for that is because we wanted to make sure that we get almost all the suspects, especially the organizer of the hit. So after identifying everyone else, and we could realize that of the 6 suspects, at least 4 of them, we have parallel cases that we can link them with. So we started pursuing those parallel cases. One of them was the case that was talked about in the media, where we went to Cape Town and we arrested someone in Cape Town. I'm sure you might have heard about it. And we brought them back here. We charged a person on a parallel.
The one they said was false. Remember, we talked about it on the channel, and they said it's false news. They debunked the reports that were coming from independent media at the time, and they were saying, no, that's not the case.
What is the logic behind this?
I don't know. I don't understand.
They would say they were trying to make sure that they eventually catch the
right people.
The shooter.
Yes.
Is that what they kept the information secret?
Perhaps.
What kind of secret is this that Emily, I was with you, we were doing something, I know for sure that we were doing something, and then you are arrested, I still relax?
And not talk about you.
Or not even start running.
Or not even run.
Oh, I guess.
And at the
I
time
guess the Eswatini issue. I guess the Eswatini issue is gonna come as they were running, hiding from.
Yes, they were on the run. In fact, I have the Eswatini article. We're gonna go through it after this. We're gonna go through that full article. It's got more details.
I'm not privy to that article, but I can almost link the daughters, continue.
But the very same person was linked to this case, but we didn't charge him on the case. So we went on with the rest of these arrests that we effected. The first one being the 22nd of April, where the organizer of firearms and vehicles, the person was renting this out, was arrested and was charged on different cases, as well as most recently he's now been linked to this one of case 85. On the 24th of October, that's when we effected our second arrest. This was a spotter who was arrested also being involved in murder in another case that happened except the one that you're talking about. On the 14th of December, we arrested the third suspect. And that suspect was also linked with another murder case that happened in Masemula, including, but we did not charge on this one that we are talking about today. On the 24th of February, maybe let me explain this one. After identifying the two suspects that we're looking for after chasing them the whole year, we found the house where they were hiding in Swaziland. So through information, we could spot them, and we got informers to tell them and give us their photos, and we could confirm their whereabouts. So because we wanted to follow the law, and I like South African media because you tend to understand now the law, that we can't be talking about things that are still in court, especially when individuals have not been charged. So in this case, we approached the NPA, an affidavit was prepared, and we submitted through Interpol in order to request the authorities in Swaziland to help us catch these two. These two were arrested on Saturday morning in Swaziland for other cases, as I've spoken about, including the one that we're talking about. However, when we were talking about the other parallel cases, it's simple because we did not want to scare the very last two that we're still looking for. We had warrant of arrest for the last two, which is the main guy that without him, this case would not have been strong. We needed to get that one behind bars. So after getting these two on Saturday, we're told that they found them. We did not communicate that, as has been the case throughout, that you're not communicating it. We did not communicate on Saturday. We did not communicate on Sunday. On Monday, we had on our position warrant of arrest of the last two. Unfortunately, the news broke out. So when the news broke out, the very last suspect we were looking for went on a run because the news were out, and they realized that the people that they thought were hiding that side, they're now running away, that they've been arrested. So they ought to run. So the team worked 24/7, 24 hours looking for them, and that was from Monday until early hours of this morning, when the lawyers came to us and they said, okay, they're going to hand themselves over because we were hunting them and we had warrant of arrest. So this afternoon, they then were arrested and charged on the same case 85. One of these suspects that are in custody, that will amount into a total of 6 suspects that we're looking for. 4 of them are here, and 2 of them are not here yet because we're still busy with the legal process that we cannot engage on now because it involves many parties. So that's basically all timelines in terms of what has happened from last year, April, up until now. Thanks so much, Minister.
Thank you very much, General. We're just going to open up the floor now to some questions. You know the rules. Please identify yourself as well as the media house that you represent. I'll start there at the back. That's ENCA. And I'll come here. So we'll take the first 3 questions, please. And also just direct yourself as to who you're asking the question to. Please also take in mind that the Commissioner of the SAPS is also here, General Fani Masemula. Go ahead, Desen.
Okay. I'm Desen Tatia from ENCA. Perhaps just to start with a few questions, but the first of it being, so I think you mentioned, General, that when this news broke as a result of the foreign media, that was when it really, in a sense, compromised your case, and there was a suspect that escaped. Is there any particular reason that it took that event, although it chased away your suspect, but it took that event for us to finally get clarity on this matter? Is there any reason why, up until that point, the police was not able to give us that. In fact, so much so that the statement that was released yesterday or the day before gave us the impression that the two from Eswatini were not actually linked to this case. So perhaps some clarity on that and the strategy that you employed here. The second is that you said a little while ago that it was the coordinator or the almost, I think you used the word master, but when you say that, are you talking about the coordinator on the ground and not necessarily the mastermind, the person who paid the money? Can you clarify that point? And a follow-on to that question would be, how close are we then to actually finding out who paid for this hit?
All right, thank you, Dasen. Kosikon?
Yeah, Kosikon Aduma from News 24. I think I'm just going to follow the same line. Any idea as to what could have been the motive for this particular crime? And the second question would be those two suspects that are not here yet, do you expect that by Thursday when the four appear in court that those ones would have arrived here and they would appear with them? And just for clarity, and not to guess, we're talking about the Durban Magistrates Court, right? That's where they'll make their first court appearance.
All right, we'll give you the clarity. One last question from the side. Go ahead.
Joy Paulson from the SABC, just touching from where my colleagues left off. There's been a lot of speculation with regards to his circle, his inner circle. They had supper there at the Wish restaurant. Can we expect any more arrests that are made? And also, the people in the house, have they been linked to any of the suspects that have been arrested?
All right, we'll take those first three questions, General Minister.
Okay, thanks so much, Minister. The first question, why did we not speak about this until the news broke? As I said earlier, our strategy was that we're not going to talk about this, and I've said it many times. We will not talk about this until first we inform the family, and secondly, we're going to be going to court. That has been the strategy. So that's why we had to find a way of getting these people arrested and detained for parallel cases other than this main case, knowing for a fact that we have our fish been detained somewhere, and when his time is ready for this case and we have all the other suspects, then we'll book this one out and charge him on this case. That's basically has been the strategy. So unfortunately, we already were there. We were there on Saturday when we requested the Swati authorities to execute those warrants. From the time they agreed, okay, we're going to execute, and they told us on Saturday that the warrants have been executed. Monday, we were in court to get the warrant of arrest for the last two. That was our plan. By the time the news broke, we already had warrants on our hands. And when we were about to discuss with the NPA in terms of course, when we arrest, we must go to court. So when we were discussing with NPA, the news broke, and by the time when we were going for the suspects, they were gone. Because those were people that were not running away, they were always around. That's why we thought we were going to keep them last. So that's basically was our strategy. Unfortunately, the Swati, unfortunately, they release whatever that they release in the media, which I'm not going to talk about. As I said, it is in Swaziland. I'm glad that you all understand that we shouldn't be talking and bringing such documentation that are caught.
Yeah. Look, if I'm part of the Swati people, Swati police, I would release it too. I would definitely release it too, because we are literally saying, I'm a liar that you have filed for these people to be extradited from where they were in Eswatini on the basis that they are part of a certain case. And I'm discussing this on the basis of what happened, right?
Yes.
So, do I... this... And then, after all this, and we are part of it, Mkhwanazi, you are part of it, and then you say, okay, I'll say these people are lying.
He
What was the logic?
blatantly called them lies. And you have to understand that a newspaper is a business at the end of the day.
What was the
And
logic?
The credibility is important to Eswatini report or Eswatini Times. It's very important, the credibility. And now you call them liars, and they're like, okay, we've got receipts. And
they brought receipts.
The receipts. They released
And then
them.
all of a sudden, after those receipts, now we come and clarify. if you ask me, those receipts, I have not seen them as yet. If you ask me, he probably didn't have a clue of him.
You think so?
I'm telling you. That's my thinking.
He's giving that impression.
That's my thinking.
He's given that impression that he didn't know what was going on.
Honestly, I would say this man looks like an honest man. And I said it yesterday.
Yes, you said it yesterday. But now he's starting to look wonky because...
Of this? No.
Yes.
I mean, there's protocol that must be followed. I mean...
Wonky. Yesterday you said they're lying. Today now you're changing the story and they're like, we wanted to protect, we wanted to make sure that we make the arrest.
What would you do, Emmett? What would you do?
It's your job.
It's your job, and you report.
It's your job.
You know, you report. There's a lot of things that are not right about this whole situation, and if you ask me, I would literally call it a circus. There's a lot of things that are not right.
Okay, can we go to the Eswatini article, or would you like to listen to the rest of the press conference? Let's finish it.
Yeah, let's finish it.
Okay.
In court that must go out into the media. It's just disappointing, but basically it's not because we were fooling the public, but we wanted to make sure we don't compromise this and we follow the law. The coordinator is the same mastermind. It's the person who put the team together, mobilize resources, and pay them after the job. How long will it take to bring those back into the country? It's a legal process that I cannot talk about. It will take as long as the law allows it to take. We'll be glad that they are still in custody. That's sad. We hope they stay in custody. And by the time they get here, then we'll be able to present them to before the NPA, before the court. Yes, indeed, there is a possibility of other suspects that might be added on the list, but our case is strong as is now with the 6. So once we get the others, you will get to know about it, that there is one we added, or 2 or 3 or whatever numbers, as well as some exhibits that you might still find as we investigate.
But Tafia, you're not very correct. When you say we have not been saying anything about it, we waited for Swazi News or Swazi Mail, you are not very correct. We've been talking about this thing, you just did not want to believe us. You fell, all of you, when we say there are cars that are in the hands of the police, there are people that are linked in this case that are in custody. Maybe not emphasizing the point that for other things, because the brief is that you need to link them on, put your ducks in the row and all that. To say that South African police, he has said that time and again. Next to you, Matt has said it time and again. We have said it time and again to say we are on the track of this case. We have said that time and again. And if you look, when the information and the evidence was put, that is March after the killer. The first person known and picked up on the 22nd April 2022. So cars found as given. So South African police, the only thing that one congratulates is to refuse the pressure that could have compromised the case. Should you have said we found one car and all that kind of stuff. See how they spread, others in Swaziland or Eswatini and all that. But police, I think they have tried under very trying conditions to take on board South Africans. The only thing South Africans, they want to see blood and the dead body to believe. So if you say somebody's dead and they don't show the dead body, so they don't believe. But the truth of the matter is that we have tried to brief up South Africans, including yesterday. Yesterday we said, well, we are waiting for proper briefing and all that. For instance, the people, authorities of Eswatini, they would have known how to brief us rather than going to the paper. They are members of SAPRO, they are members of Interpol and their neighbors and all that. For us, that would have been much better if they first followed that rather than making news. To us, is less news and more of an issue that we want to tell about.
All right, let's take the second round of questions, please. We'll take follow-ups after. I think it's only fair. Let me just look at the side of the room. Okay, go ahead, brother.
Thank you. My name is Sandy Lemota. I work for the Sunday World newspaper. Just a quick one. There was a question actually from my colleague, so I just wanted to insist on it. Do we perhaps know the motive behind the murder of AKA?
All right, we'll definitely ask that question. No. All right, go ahead.
I'm Lisa from Newsroom Africa. I just want clarity, just for clarity's sake. There's a coordinator, there's 2 shooters, there's 2 spotters, and I think you also said, pardon me?
And the trigger pullers. Oh, those are shooters.
The shooters.
Yes, the 2 shooters. You mentioned someone else, but nonetheless, and then you said the coordinator is the mastermind. So the clarity that I want is this the person that ordered the hit? And do we know how much these people were paid?
All right, the rands and cents there. That's a follow-up. Let me just see if there's a fresh hand, colleagues. Okay, go ahead.
Any of the arrested people, is there any of them who's a person of public interest who's known?
All right, so a famous person. And I'm going to take your follow-up, Jason.
Okay, well, initially I was going to ask about the price, but I think that will be answered. The other question was around that missing suspect. Are we in a position, General, to say is this someone that you still have tabs on? Are you confident that he's someone you're going to catch soon, or is it a case of having to now start the process of hunting him down again?
All right, we'll be fair to close okay, we'll have the last round, okay, colleagues?
And on a personal level, Nushera Sudial from East Coast Radio News. I'm sure you guys have briefed the family before you briefed us, and what was the reaction from them?
Okay, we'll sneak that question in. We'll have the last round, colleagues, after this. Jimmy?
Okay, the briefing of the family, I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to answer that one, Minister. Don't want to get involved on that one. The motive is...
Do you hear that?
With regards to the family, doesn't want to get involved.
Who has been saying that we've been briefing the family?
Didn't he say it in that yesterday?
Why doesn't he want to get... you see the problem. You see from what we can pull here is that they didn't.
They did not inform the family.
So now they must find a very good way of explaining, since they've been saying we've been briefing the family. Now all of a sudden, after this release of papers, they rush to this
press conference
that looks unplanned. Very smart Mkhwanazi is leaving the questions that could dig the hole for him, if you ask me.
Not yet know. We suspect, but we're not going to talk about it. We suspect what could be the motive, but we're not going to say now what could be the reason. But until there's any confession or whatever that comes out, then we'll be able to know. We know how much each received, how much they were paid, but we're not going to divulge it because it's part of the case.
Not much.
Is there any famous suspect amongst the group? I don't know what is described as being famous. So it's going to be difficult for me to say this one is famous or not. So they're all human beings and they're all South African citizens, so they're all important. I'll leave it there. Missing suspect or suspects, more than one. I said any other suspect, any other individual might be added on this case if the investigation lead us into that.
So they were a lot shaded there as they were speaking.
So the team is still working. So we hope that whoever that we need to add on the charge, we will add on the charge. Whether we are chasing that person or we are not chasing that person for now, or maybe chase later, we might still add people if need be. The investigation doesn't end here. Thanks much.
Well,
you see, if you haven't noticed,
yes,
Mkhwanazi does not speak a lot.
No, brief, very brief, man
Yes.
of few words.
and he's not man of few words. He explained everything properly most of the time. This looks or this smells like an ambush. This is my opinion. He doesn't have answers that he normally has. He's the most prepared man. If you ask me, he's
You
mostly
saw the
prepared.
video.
Yes.
You saw the video of him explaining.
He's mostly prepared when he speaks. But today, he's short, leaving questions that could be ambiguous. And
very careful.
when he's asked about if there's a famous person or not, everyone is a citizen of South Africa.
I
Don't
guess
know.
everyone is important.
Everyone's important. That's it. And that's Mkhwanazi we know. Everyone is equal. That's why he talked about the liquor, where no one wants to talk about it.
Impeccably informed that the family has been informed. That's that. Actually, I received the information that is informed when I was ready to inform the family that the family has been informed. I think the oldest of these guys is 36. Yeah, that's the oldest out of the whole group. So it's 36. It's not very old group of people and all that. The motive we told a court. So we told a court, and we are all interested really to know, because it's very clear. It was not just somebody that woke up in the morning and got angry. You can see the build up and all that, coordinating. The money, they got money. All of them, they were paid.
But not much. But not much.
Yeah, really not. The life of a person cannot have anything enough. But you would think that is such a profile person. You really will think that I don't know what a life of person. I don't know if you kid me how much you demand on that. But across the board, there will be no money enough for the life of person. But as people say, that some animals are more equal than others, you'd expect that that money would be real. So, not.
What does it say? What, is that a Bible that says animals are more equal?
It's Animal Farm. It's the book.
No, I'm just saying. Did you say a Bible?
He said a Bible.
wait, I didn't.
No, please replay it. Did he say a Bible, guys? No, please.
Some animals are more equal than others, you'd expect. I don't know what a life of person. I don't know if you kid me how much you demand on that. But across the board, there will be no money enough for the life of person. But as people say, that some animals are more equal than others, you'd expect that that money would be real. So,
as people say. As people say,
it's not a book. It's not a book.
That's why I got confused, because he said people. As people.
As people say.
People. As people say. Not people. As not the Bible. No. As people. People say. People say.
But this is not people. This is a book. That's.
People. Ngoba isingezulu ibhibhili angithi ibhibhili. So I got confused there. I got very...
Okay, colleagues, we are taking the last round. I'll see if we have any fresh hands first, and then we'll take follow-ups. So it looks like it's follow-ups. All right, go ahead.
It's been a year-long investigation. I just want to know, from the investigation, was this the first assassination attempt? Through the thorough investigation, has there been any information that has come to the fore that perhaps suggests that they have tried to attempt elsewhere?
Just to be clear, a first attempt on who?
On the
Super. All right. Okay. What's going on?
It sounds like a general question, but I feel that I need to ask it. You have taken almost a year to complete this investigation, or at least to bring them to court.
Yes.
You've been under pressure as the police from the public to come to this point, and congratulations for that point. But the question I have is, are you really confident that after spending so much time gathering so many people, that this will result in real convictions?
Okay. I'm gonna take in newsroom and then ENCA. Go ahead.
Me again. Do we define mastermind as the person who ordered the hit? That's what we just want to clarify.
All right, and then the last but not least, dissent.
Okay, so I just want to clarify a point. We're talking about, I think it's common cause now that it was a hit. But what I just want to establish is, was this specifically targeted only to towards AKA, and was Tebelo hit, just as a consequence, or was he also part of those that was targeted? Thank you.
All right, colleagues, that is the final round. I'm going to ask the General to take us through those questions, and then we'll close it.
Okay, thank you so much. We're not aware, SAPS KZN is not aware of any attempt in the past on the life of the deceased. It might have happened in other part of the country, but not in KZN. We don't have any records of such. There was never a case registered before. Yes, I have said before, and up until Monday, when I issued a clip, that once we have arrested everyone that we need, and we've discussed the case with the NPA, and NPA is happy with the case, and they are happy to present the case in court, we will then brief the South Africans through the media. What we are doing today is exactly that. We were not going to call you and brief you if we're not happy about the evidence together with the NPA. So we are happy together with NPA, that's why we're briefing you today. Of course, things happen in court, and there's lawyers, and there's, they will always twist and turn things. The case might take longer than perhaps we might all want it to take, but that will be left to the court. The master versus the hit order. I must indicate again, of the 6, we have someone that coordinated the whole operation. And that's a person who mobilized all these resources and people. That's a person who paid them after the job. So whether did he get an instruction from elsewhere, we cannot say that, because we don't have that evidence. At least we know that he's the one that organized everything. Whether he organized it under the instruction of someone else, it remains to be seen through the investigation. We might still go higher than that one. But for now, we're happy that if we go higher, we might be looking for one person or another one on top of that one. But this one is commanding the forces that were operating on the day. So that's why we're comfortable with him. So in terms of English, what is the right terminology? Maybe sibeke kanjalo. Yeah, umtiti. So who was the main target? From our investigation, it became clear that Mr. Forbes was the main target. He's the one that was followed from the airport. He's the one who was followed at the hotel. He's the one that was spotted inside the restaurant. And the plan was not to shoot him the manner they did. They were going to shoot him in the vehicle. But because he stood longer outside greeting his friend, and those hitmen did not want to wait. That's why they came for him. So the second victim, it was by coincidence that he was shot. As I'm sure you realize, the second shooter was at quite a distance away from him when he got shot. So we do believe that the plan was for Mr. Forbes. Thanks so much.
I do want to emphasize the point that we are happy about sitting there listening and all that. For the NPA to say take it to court, we do the investigation, police do the investigation, and we put it, and the NPA take to court. Time must tell, but absolutely there is a zero hesitation from the investigators. Those that is a good team, that one has met, presentation, and all that kind of stuff. Modis, umtitiyeli lo, ubabize bonke, wabatholela izinto zokusebenza bonke, wabakhokhela bonke. They all get equal share, by the way. Bonke bathola imali elinganayo bonke. and all that. But I do agree with the question, is he the last man? I'm sure the question asked by Duma and the SABC, if that is the last, that investigation that continues will tell us the story that is Mtitiel the real man, or is the man beyond the man, or is the man or the woman beyond the man. But for now, it does look like he did almost everything. Motive and time will tell us, investigation going forward will tell us. We have been assured about the seventh person. It could not be tomorrow, it could not be the day after tomorrow, but indeed it will be in the hands of the police. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Minister. Colleagues, you have been asking what court that is going to be. Can we please advise you closer to the time? But it is definitely going to be on Thursday, General?
Thursday, yeah.
On Thursday. We will advise you as to which court exactly the suspects are going to be appearing. And thank you so much for availing yourself tonight. Have a fantastic evening further.
It's not late. Not too late.
I'm getting a headache. There's no mastermind even in this one. There's no the person that took out that money, the person that ordered the hit is not being mentioned. And they're saying that the court will figure that out. And we know with the other case, what is currently happening, it's murky waters again. We'll see on Thursday when they make their first court appearance, and obviously as the case goes on. But ingalo yomthetho inde. Is that what they are saying? The arm of justice is long. So we will see.
Okay.
Namara.
There are a few things before you go to the next part of this. There are a few things that are not making sure. Commissioner is the one who's supposed to be doing what our minister is doing.
Yes.
Our minister is not supposed to be there.
The commissioner is very quiet.
If you ask me, our minister is not supposed to be there.
I don't even know what
and I'm saying this on purpose. And he was there, right?
And he was there, yes. I don't
he
know
never
what
talked.
His voice sounds like. He never talks.
No. Never talked. Only Minister Bheki talked, and the provincial commissioner spoke, and that's it.
KZN. That's it.
If you convince me otherwise, that this has nothing to do with political ways of doing things in terms of, we're closer to the voting line. Here we go. We have a situation. Even the Senzo case was announced closer to the voting line.
Yes, it was in 2018.
2018,
we
yes.
And
the minister was also there. There's too much coincidence of things happening. Like,
I see Kosho, because we've seen what happens. Like we will see on Thursday what the accused, as they appear, what
subsequently and I can assure you that it's not gonna be the persecutor that you saw in Joburg, probably, but one wise man said, birds of the same feather flock together. I think it was not something that was not thought well. So do expect to see similarities in terms of almost everything. But what I can predict when it comes to this one is that no one is going to disturb it. Unlike this one, these were the Senzo guys were lucky that it now took this long for it to reach this point. This is something unprecedented, something that was unthought of, but it happened. But there's not going to be anyone of such. Already we have a situation of Mjiako, if you ask me, where lawyers are handing in people there and whatnot. Very soon we will be questioning where those lawyers where did they get the money to actually pay lawyers? One can argue that they have money because they are alleged to be hitmen. So that is something that you need to highlight. Minister was so active in speaking.
As if he was a part of the investigation. He was on the ground doing the investigation.
Fani Masemula muted the whole time.
I don't even know what the voice of the police commissioner sounds like.
Let's continue.
Well, we're going to continue to the article. All of these details that they don't want to tell us. Times of Swaziland have released an article that has details. I'm going to go through it.
Please.
Manzini, an amount of 800,000 rands was reportedly paid and shared among the alleged killers of rapper Kenan Jard Forbes, popularly known as AKA. And the title of the article says AKA suspected killers were paid 800,000 rands. And it says AKA and his friend Tebello Tips Motswani were gunned down in February last year on Florida Road in Durban. And the rapper was standing outside the Wish restaurant when a gunman walked up to him and shot him in the head. The rapper died instantly. The accused persons from Durban, Siabonga, Gezani, Ndimande, Cele, and Malusi, Dave, Ndimande, Mj. Apparently they are brothers. Allegedly they are brothers, were arrested by members of the Royal Eswatini Police Service, REPS, while hiding in a flat they rented at Zone 4 in Bambane from the sum of 800,000 rands in the currency of Eswatini. I don't know what they call it. What do they call it, you guys?
Malangen.
The currency about the money.
It's a Malangen.
Emalangeni, 800,000 Emalangeni. Then Demande brothers are alleged to have received 133,000 rands as their share. And besides the charge of the alleged murder of the rapper, they are also facing 2 other charges where they are alleged to have ended the lives of 2 South African businessmen. So already they have the profile of being Ngabis. They are quite dangerous as they are being described. So brothers, they are saying that then demand the brothers who are aged between 28 and 29 respectively made their maiden court appearance before Manzini Principal Magistrate David Kumalo yesterday. They were remanded in custody pending the formal application of their extradition to their home country. So right now they have started the extradition process of them, and they were arrested on Saturday, and the process of extradition started sometime this week. So the details on how they allegedly committed the crime and how much they were purportedly paid are contained in an application for provisional arrest filed by Elaine Harrison, who is the Director of Public Prosecutions, DPP, based at the KwaZulu-Natal Division of the High Court. According to the charge sheet, the first count against the suspects was that of murder of Forbes. They are also facing charges of conspiracy to murder, unlawful possession of firearms and ammunition, and money laundering. The DPP narrated to the court that in February 2023, Forbes' first deceased, a prominent South African musician, was hired by Philani Kweyama to perform at a club called Hugo in Durban, KwaZulu-Natal. She submitted that on Friday the 10th, 2023, Forbes arrived in Durban via King Shaka International Airport. She pointed out that Forbes was traveling with his entourage, comprising of his disc jockey, DJ, bodyguard, manager, and photographer. She said they were picked up at the airport and taken to Hilton Hotel Umhlanga in Durban. The Forbes entourage was followed by a grey BMW from King Shaka Airport to Hilton Hotel, While the first deceased and his entourage were at the hotel, a grey Polo with a registration number, they shared it, I'm not going to share it, was spotted as having passed the hotel. It was later established that this grey Polo was a spotter vehicle used by the assailants, submitted the DPP Harrison. She alleged that upon further investigation of cell phone records, it was established that an individual by the name of Mziwethemba Harvey Gwabeni was present in the grey BMW that had followed Forbes and his entourage to the hotel. So disclaimer, I don't know whether it's the same Gwabeni we've heard of before.
No.
Maybe it's a different one.
Shouldn't be.
Disclaimer. For those who are going to ask, we don't know who this Gwabeni is. So according to Harrison, it was also established that Gwabeni had allegedly hired the grey Polo that was used as a spotter vehicle. The DPP stated that cell phone records also placed Siyabonga and Lindokuhle in the vicinity of the Hilton Hotel. She alleged that approximately at 5:30 p.m., Forbes and his entourage were transported to Wish Restaurant, situated at 198 Florida Road, Morningside, Durban. And by the way, that Wish Restaurant closed down sometime last year. Allegedly, it closed down. So it's no longer there now. So, and there it's different business, a different business entity. So Harrison submitted that when Forbes and his entourage arrived at the restaurant, Forbes was met by Kweyama, the owner of Wish Restaurant. Kweyama, according to the DPP, invited Forbes to have a haircut at his saloon that was based inside Wish Restaurant. I remember seeing footages of this on the night the incident happened, and it was so. But they AKA was there having his haircut during the day, just before performing there. So Kweyama, according to the DPP, invited Forbes to have a haircut at his salon that was based inside the Wish Restaurant, and she stated that Forbes proceeded to the salon while his entourage sat at the bar area. She highlighted that after the haircut, Forbes joined his entourage for a meal and drinks. There were also posts of that on his social media, and they were seated inside the restaurant. Harrison went on to submit that while having supper, Forbes was joined by Tibello Motswani, the second deceased. She brought it to the court's attention that the second deceased knew Forbes very well, as he was his previous manager. Yes, that's true. It was established that a spotter had been positioned inside the restaurant watching Forbes. So a subpoena in terms of Section 205 of the Criminal Procedure Act 51 of 1977 was obtained for the spotter. The information received from Standard Bank upon the Section 205 subpoena established that the Standard Bank card belonged to Lindokuhle Mhlaliseni Ndimande, and that the said account was opened on the morning of the incident by Lindokuhle, submitted by the DPP. Harrison averred that a video footage outside the Wish Restaurant revealed that the grey Polo stopped outside the restaurant while Forbes was inside the restaurant. She alleged that the clothing of the person who alighted from the vehicle and entered the restaurant was the same as seen in the video footage, as being the African male that was later identified as Lindokuhle Mhlaliseni Ndimande. She pointed out that the tracking report on the grey Polo placed the vehicle in the vicinity of Hilton Hotel and later at the Wish Restaurant. According to the DPP, sometime later, a white Mercedes-Benz C200 was also spotted passing the restaurant. Now, this white BMW is the one that was alleged to have been seized by the police in sometime April last year. And when the news came out, they were quickly debunked to say that they were not true. She stated that after the Mercedes-Benz passed the restaurant, it came to a stationary position approximately 100 meters from the restaurant at approximately 10:10 p.m. And the first deceased, Forbes, and his entourage, when they say Forbes, they mean AKA, guys, that his surname is Forbes. And his entourage, accompanied by the second deceased, Mkhwanazi, exit the restaurant through a passageway leading onto the pavement of Florida Road. The deceased, or the first deceased, is seen on a video talking to the second deceased and hugging him. Now, this is the description of that traumatic video footage that was circulating on X on the night that he passed on. A suspect wearing a cap is seen crossing Florida Road and approaching the first deceased from behind, submitted Harrison. She mentioned that at the same time, another suspect wearing dark clothing and a cap is also seen crossing over Florida Road and positioning himself between the two vehicles. Harrison said the first suspect, Siyabonga, was further observed armed with a firearm approaching Forbes and then aiming for his head. She alleged that the second suspect, Lindoguhle, maintained his position and simultaneously fired shots in the direction of both the deceased, Forbes and Mkhwanazi. The DPP said Forbes fell to the ground and Mkhwanazi ran into the passageway and fell. Both suspects are observed fleeing the scene by crossing Florida Road and towards the direction of the white Mercedes-Benz. The suspects jumped into the Mercedes-Benz and left at a high speed, submitted Harrison. She stated that investigations were immediately conducted at the scene after the murder of Forbes and Mkhwanazi, and it was established that they died at the scene. 2 spent 9mm nickel cartridges were found close to the body of the first deceased. 4 spent 9mm cartridge cases were found in the vicinity of where the second suspect has positioned himself, and video footage from the inside and outside the restaurant was secured. Postmortems were conducted on both the deceased, and the cause of death was consistent with gunshot wounds, she argued. So the investigation section now, they're saying the DPP stated that the investigating officer traced the Mercedes-Benz and was informed that it was used in the commission of a murder and attempted murder and was recovered near Kato Crest Informal Settlement. She mentioned that it was believed that the Mercedes-Benz was the same vehicle that was used as a gateway vehicle in the commission of the murders of Forbes and Mkhwanazi outside Wish Restaurant in Florida Road. She said this was determined by the investigations conducted by the investigating officer. Upon investigations carried out at the scene where the Mercedes-Benz was abandoned, it was established that there had been attempts to set the vehicle on fire by one of the suspects, submitted the DPP. He alleged that one of the suspects also purchased airtime from a tuck shop situated a few meters away from where the vehicle was abandoned. Harrison went on to state that investigations revealed that Siphamandla Ngcobo was identified as the person who recharged his phone with the airtime purchased from the tuck shop, and she says Siphamandla was arrested on March the 29th, 2023 and charged with robbery with aggravating circumstances. So Siphamandla is already in custody. They've already caught him last year. So investigation said that the DPP stated that, okay, let me check if I'm not repeating this. Okay, with aggravating circumstances. Then the records. Cellular phone records were obtained for Siphamandla Ngcobo and compared with cellular phone records at the scene of the murder on the night in question. It was established that Ngcobo had communicated with Gwabeni, Lindani, Zenzele, Ndimande. Lindani's cell phone records were obtained, and he was also placed in the vicinity of the Florida Road where the murders had taken place. So the DPP argued that she brought it to the court's attention that at the time of committing the offense, the suspects were residing at flat 604, Capella Flats in Malusi, South Beach, Durban, KwaZulu-Natal. She informed the court that the accused were suspects in 2 charges of murder, and warrants of arrest in both matters were authorized by a magistrate in the district of eThekwini. So the DPP brought it to the court's attention that the basis of the authorization of the warrants of arrest was that the whereabouts of the duo was known, and they were traced to the kingdom of Eswatini. The suspects are expected to again appear at the Manzini Magistrates Court on Tuesday, and the Crown was represented by Principal Crown Counsel Macebo Nxumalo, while the suspect is Sife Ngwenya. So they have Eswatini lawyers representing them there for this whole case and extradition process. So this is quite interesting, the details of the investigations and how they went and how they put it together. I'm hearing cell phone records. I'm hearing the movement or the tracking of the BMW, the grey Polo. So I don't know, man. I don't know, but how they were saying it in the press conference, it's reminiscent of something I've seen before and heard before with the current trial that's giving us sleepless nights. So this one, I don't know how it's gonna go, but we'll see with the court appearances how it goes. I don't want to talk too much. It's still early stages. Let's see what this develops into and what it becomes. But hopefully they have the right people this time.
So you
Allegedly.
arrest people, you keep them there for long with other cases
but not this one.
That you could have found through, some of them you could have found through this case.
The question here would be, what happens if you do that and eventually you find that these people are not the right people? Are you going to let them go? That is the question I have.
Once it's in media, they must forget. No one is going home. This one's going to be a bit shorter than Senzo's case.
Yeah.
A bit shorter unless they have money to fight. But it looks so going to be shorter.
No, this one is a done one. The court appearance is going to be shorter than what's happening with Senzo's case, in my opinion. And it's obviously our opinion here over here in Mzansi Reality. So we can open the lines. Guys, I think
let's just hear what you guys have to say.
Let's hear what you have to say. But hey, go busy, man. Go busy. I can't even process all of this thing at once. A lot is happening, and I think most of us are traumatized with when we hear similarities. Like
I was reading some, I think IOL. There's some forensic some forensic person saying it's disappointing that they kept these people. It was 11 February. Disappointing that they kept these people for this long, not unless they are actually working on the witnesses for them to become witnesses. But also, you cannot have more than one witnesses, even if they take a bargain of being witnesses.
So you cannot have more than one witness.
Yeah, so it's baffling.
So even if
why
you were
they were not
arrange
charged?
a plea bargain to say that you bend the rest, you cannot have more than one person who does that. You need one person to become the actual.
So that you arrest the rest.
Hi guys. No. This is murky waters. Like, good tricky. Good.
It's difficult to navigate these cases, but what we are noticing is similarities.
There's the same pattern.
That is disturbing. If if you ask me, it's very disturbing because we are in a situation like this with Senzo's case. We don't want a situation like that again.
No, please. Let it be the right people.
So, guys, if you want to call, please call. But if you don't want to call, please like the video, share the video. Yes, like the video and share the video.
And please share the video and like the video. Do what
check
is
some
right.
of the other videos that
And
we're
also
talking
some
about.
people were kind of skeptical, and I'm skeptical with them because when I saw the picture of these two people from Eswatini Times, they took pictures of them, ne? I don't know. Like, I saw the CCTV and it traumatized me, and I kept watching it over and over and over. And you know when that incident
They
just
will
happened?
tell you people change, the angles of the cameras are not the same. There's gonna be a lot of things at play. So that route that I think you want to take, it's not gonna go anywhere. But yeah, they don't look the same. Guys, you're not calling. I guess all is well, Amen.
Hi, all is well, guys. Maybe you'll call on the next live. We don't know when we're gonna organize another live again. But that from us now, it's a wrap. That's all we had to bring with regards to AKA situation. I don't know if I should go through the court papers as well, but it's kind of a repetition of, not really a repetition, but it's a similar story. So let me look for the court papers quickly, and we'll go through them a little bit. But that article summed up these court papers. It did sum them up nicely.
Hello? Zanzelo?
Hello, Mr. Anonymous.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, Justice Emily.
Hi.
Go on.
Yeah, bo. Clearance lo eMpumalanga.
Hi, Clarence.
Yes. Le case le vele kahle iyagli yasenzo Meyiwa. Vele direction yayisikhombisa khona. So yeah, maphoyisa wethu vele afeyilile kakhulu kahle asifeyila sisouth siyikhawunti kahle kahle size siyoncedwa yiSwatini because even nangibukela nale press conference yabo but ngibone kancane because bese ngibukela ni they barely answered those questions labo wabutako vele they are beating around the bushes kahle basifeyila la. Yeah. It's so sad. It's so sad.
It is sad.
Yeah. So, but even noma bangabasukela lokufela liqiniso lo umanqo. They can do whatever they do, but liqiniso ngilo lelo litoti reveal at the end of the day. Because if they didn't commit a crime, they didn't commit. Just like as Senzo Meyiwa, they did their plan, they planned everything very well, they have 100 and something witnesses. But here we are, still they cannot arrest those guys because so really you alone.
Hey, yeah,
Oh, guys, yeah.
Thank you
for informing us every day. So guys,
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Hi. And some people are like, no, but you guys are wrong for comparing it to the Senzo Meyiwa trial. It's two totally different cases. Guys, Mara, I knew about Meli court. Every day we come here and we analyze the court proceedings. Guys, this is like how police of South Africa work. generally, maybe they should just tell us that this is their modus operandi. Like when they are suspecting that you've done something, they will find other cases, they will hold you for those other cases, and then as you are arrested for those other cases, then they arrest you for what exactly they started to investigate you with initially. They just didn't let you know. Maybe it's
what we can draw from this is that Danzu maybe was telling the truth in this case. Zanzi, hello.
Hi, Miss Anonymous.
I say, how are you?
I'm okay. Emily, how are you?
I'm good, and yourself?
I'm good. General Mkhwanazi, we're waiting for confessions.
I was like,
Ay, kudaliwe ngathi la guys, kudaliwe ngathi la.
South Africa, our land. South Oh.
Anyway, guys, thank you, guys. Abanolala manje ku-19, abanolala.
We'll see what time, what this develops into, because wow. Yeah, Mr. Nonza, let's go sleep. Hi, my head is pounding because I'm thinking a lot of things. I'm thinking a lot of things, and I'm not confident. I'm not. I wish I was, and maybe I'm too traumatized to say that, but I am. I'm not confident yet. Let's see the court proceedings.
Yeah, let's see the court proceedings. Yes. Look, guys, thank you very much for being with us, and just like the video. Please push it to at least 300 likes before the morning game.
Yeah, please, guys. We'd really appreciate it. All 385 of you. If you could just hit that like button, I'll appreciate it. But until the next one, guys, it's a bye from our center. Let us pray for South Africa.